welcome to Module 5. We are more than halfway past the midpoint of the course, and you completed your industry analysis papers a little while ago, and we gave you feedback on it. And now you're beginning your ethics argument paper. The industry analysis paper was essentially literature review. The ethics argument paper is going to combine literature review and critical thinking. So we're going to go through some concepts about writing an argumentative essay. Okay, so the ethics argument. To begin with, we look at audience and purpose, okay? Any kind of writing you ever do, the two things you always first consider: audience. Who are you writing this to? And purpose. Why are you writing it? Okay? So in the ethics argument paper, your audience would be academic with varying levels of knowledge on the subject. Okay? So don't assume your audience, your reading audience, knows everything about what you want to tell us and persuade us. So you want to give us enough information on this so we'll have context to understand it. Now the purpose will be persuade your reader that a certain course of action on a controversial is more suitable than another. So you're going to be looking at two perspectives that on each side of the issue. So when you're writing an argumentative essay, you want to persuade readers who may disagree with your position. I said may, I know that says would in this slide. You want to be sure that you understand both sides of the argument, okay? So this is the difficult part where you're wearing the hat of the stakeholders on each side. So you look at the perspectives, you're examining multiple perspectives in the argument. You could take a look at the optional reading on writing an argumentative essay. It's a PDF in the Writing Lab resources, and be able to give you a lot of information on this. But let's look at the ethics argument paper components. Okay, so what you want is to have an issue in technology. So it needs to be something that can be debated. We are going to be looking at your outlines for your ethics argument paper, and this is really the first line of defense. We'll make sure that you're going to have an issue that is debatable between stakeholders. The second part, you need to conduct a stakeholder analysis. And that stakeholder analysis is going to set the tone. We're going to find out what we need to know about each stakeholder, okay? And then after that stakeholder analysis for stakeholder 1 and 2, you'll come up with an argument question. This argument question should be framed as in a way that would set up some kind of a decision would be made on it. So should self-driving cars make life or death decisions? That's could be a good one, because one argument, one stakeholder would say yes, and this is why. Another stakeholder on the other side says no, this is why. So you create this argument between the stakeholders based on that argument question, and then your position at the end will be based on the argument, what you find is most convincing. And then, of course, references, because this is a research essay. Okay, so the ethics argument components, some of just the basics, you're going to do it in APA 6 to 8 pages, no cover page, reference page, minimum of 6 sources, maximum of 10 this time, because we want you to do a lot of critical thinking in this. Formatting APA, so the majority of you formatted your papers correctly. We want to see the references formatted correctly as well. I don't recommend quotes, long quotes at least, and I don't recommend images or graphs. They don't really add value to this essay. Okay, so you can see paper formats are the same as the industry analysis paper. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about inferences and assumptions. Okay, so when you infer, you believe something is true based on something else being true. So you're making an educated guess. On the other hand, an assumption is something you believe to be true. So you don't question it. Maybe it's a strong belief. It's a very dogmatic belief. Okay. Here's some examples of it. Okay. Person one. Let's take a look at this. A man is lying in the gutter. Okay. Well, if you an inference would that man's a bum. Okay, and the assumption, well, only bums lie in gutters. Okay, so here's the another person too would say, well, that man needs help. And then the assumption, well, anyone lying in the gutter needs help. So there's two frames to this, but these assumptions don't really have any strong evidence. So what that can do is really cause bias because with the assumptions, you can fall into the trap of confirmation bias, something aligning with what you believe to be true or what you want to be true. So that is something you need to be really careful about in writing an argument and arguing. Let's talk a little bit about loaded words, okay? Loaded words sometimes enhance something or they cloud judgment. So they tend to put words in other people's mouths. Okay, so here's a few phrases here. They gutted Social Security. Okay, versus reduction in Social Security benefits. So gutted Social Security really has a hostile viewpoint toward that action versus reduction in Social Security benefits. Unfortunate but needed, right? Not listed here, but how about a loaded question? How many cups of coffee in the morning do you drink? So that question already assumes that you drink coffee and you drink it in the morning, right? So be careful with that. Now, last we have logical fallacies, and this is a fun little assignment that we're going to go into this. So a fallacy happens when you're making a claim that just kind of defies logic, right? And that could make you fall into a trap of fallacies, and they're very common. We've looked at politics lately, and there's fallacies. There's a lot of fallacies and arguments, especially in politics. So be careful about using them. Here's a list of fallacies. So hasty generalization, that's like stereotyping. Slippery slope. If this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, right? So it's false cause, or false cause is post hoc. If you move down, ad hominem, all right? This person can't do the job because I don't like this person. They're an idiot. Okay, that's ad hominem. Appeal to pity. These charitable organizations give you a commercial on TV with poor people, and they'll appeal to pity for donations. There's one in here that I really like. Appeal to authority. Okay, 9 doctors out of 10 smoke Winston's because they're good for you, right? That's actually kind of paraphrasing a commercial. Okay, so the assignment is to work on the logical fallacy forum. So find a logical fallacy in the medium of your choice, share it, and here are the what you need to do. Copy and paste the fallacious statement argument in the forum. Explain why the argument is fallacy, what semantic message it conveys, and explain the type of fallacy it contains. Reply to the second part. Reply to a classmate's posting. How often do you encounter such fallacy? What can you do to avoid such fallacies in the argument? This is a really fun discussion, so I hope you have fun with it. Okay, the ethics argument paper, you should be working on that. So this is just a status report. Just give me a quick status, some obstacles that you're um, encountering, what part's the most difficult, what other challenges you have, and what you are doing to overcome the obstacles and meet those challenges. So it's actually problem and solution. So it's asking you to up with a solution to the barriers that you're encountering. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.